How's it going, everyone? I am Jinsula, and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. Alright, so we got ourselves some really exciting news. Thanks to the Hoenn Tour festivities, we are going to be getting the long-awaited return of one of the most powerful legendary Pokemon in the game, Rayquaza. The only catch is that this return is only going to last for supposedly a couple of days. I'm going to be explaining all of this in today's video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. So, probably one of the most iconic legendary Pokemon ever has got to be none other than Rayquaza. Not only is it one of the coolest looking legendaries in the franchise, but it is considered one of the most powerful Dragon-type Pokemon in the game. Anytime it returns to Pokemon Go, it always generates a huge chunk of hype among the player base. Well, it looks like things aren't changing this time around, as Rayquaza is going to be getting a powerful new charge attack. Niantic recently announced that for 2 days only, Rayquaza would be making a triumphant return to Pokemon Go's raid battles. This is all going to be during a lead-up event to the global Hoenn Tour happening on February 25th and 26th. So let's go over the details of this announcement. Trainers, oodles of Pokemon first discovered in the Hoenn region, including Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, will make appearances during Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn Global. So take the opportunity to stock up on catching supplies and familiarize yourself with some returning friends during the Primal Rumblings event. This event is only going to be for 2 days. It will start on Wednesday, February 22nd at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it will end on Friday, February 24th at 10 o'clock p.m. local time. Now, since this is going to be a lead up to the Hoenn Tour Global, the event wild encounters are going to be themed around the Hoenn region. During this brief event, you will see Treecko, Torchic, Mudkip, Wurmple, Whismur, Numel, Barboach, Grovyle, Combusken, Marshtomp, and Absol in the wild. Pretty much all of these Pokemon can be a shiny encounter. Thus, if you're lucky, you could pick up a few shinies before the Hoenn Tour Global event. Also, as a side note, there is going to be double experience for evolving Pokemon. This is actually a massive bonus for people who are still leveling their character. You should stock up on a bunch of trash Pokemon now and do some Lucky Egg chain evolving during this event. That will net you a ton of experience and help you catch up. But yeah, in spite of all this, the major highlight of this event is going to be the return of Rayquaza in 5-star raids. Accompanying it will be Treecko, Torchic, and Mudkip in 1-star raids, Grovyle, Combusken, and Marshtomp in 3-star raids, and Mega Latias and Mega Latios in Mega Evolution raids. If you still don't have the Mega Energy to Mega Evolve Latios or Latias, then definitely take this opportunity to pick that up. You only need to do 1 or 2 of these raids in order to get enough Mega Energy for 1 Mega Evolution, so it might be worth doing it just to get it done. But going back to Rayquaza, any of them you catch during this event is going to know the move Breaking Swipe. This is going to be a brand new Dragon-type attack in Rayquaza's move pool, and it's looking to be a very strong spammable move in its arsenal. I don't know if it will be an upgrade over Outrage in terms of raid DPS, but it does have a debuff effect in PvP. I'm wondering if this attack is going to be like Rock Blast, where it is not necessarily the best attack for the Pokemon it is debuting on, but it will be a phenomenal move for other Pokemon in the Go Battle League. Frankly speaking, this move would be gangbusters on a Pokemon like Dragonite, but it seems kind of wasted on a raid-only Pokemon like Rayquaza. But who knows, we'll just have to wait and see what kind of impact this attack is going to have in the game. Now, something that I found interesting was that this announcement specifically states that any Rayquaza that we encounter in raids from Wednesday, February 22nd until Wednesday, March 1st will know this attack. I'm wondering if this is an indicator that Rayquaza will remain in raids even after this 2-day event ends. I mean, we do know that Rayquaza will be a part of the global Hoenn Tour event, so it's also likely they are just including this language in the announcement to cover any Rayquaza that we catch. Who knows, but the prospect of getting a full week of catching Rayquaza, including a raid hour, is definitely enticing. Hopefully, that will be the case. Now, how should you prepare for Rayquaza? Well, basically, you will want to get a bunch of your best ice types ready. I do plan to make a raid guide video for Rayquaza in the coming week, but simply put, this boss is super vulnerable to ice types. In the right conditions and with the right Pokemon, you could even potentially solo this raid boss. That is something you should definitely keep in mind when this legendary returns next month. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to look forward to. I actually like that they were bringing in some of these spawns right before the global event. Stocking up on candies for some of these Hoenn Pokemon will save you some time later on during the catch challenge portions of the global Hoenn Tour event. Thus, you should still catch a bunch of the event wild spawns even if you don't need them. In terms of Rayquaza's return, I do get that it kind of fell off as a Dragon-type raid attacker, mainly because of new Megas and Shadows getting released since it first debuted. So I'm sure there's a small handful of players that are planning to skip this boss. However, I still think this is one of those raid bosses you need to prioritize. Even though it is not considered a top 5, it would still be your best Dragon-type raid attacker until you get one of those top 5s. You also have to remember that Mega Rayquaza will be in the game one day. That particular Pokemon will completely dominate the list of top Dragon-type raid attackers once that gets released. Thus, you don't want to get caught with your pants down and not have a good Rayquaza in your collection when that happens. Get a good one now and stock up on a ton of candies. Then, when Mega Rayquaza gets released in the future, you will be completely good to go. And of course, don't forget that Shiny Rayquaza is one of the most desired shiny legendaries in the game. Not only is it one of the coolest looking shinies, but Shundo Rayquaza is on the wish list of several veteran players. Thus, if you want a solid Pokemon you can dangle as a carrot on a stick for lucky trades, then Shiny Rayquaza is one you should focus on getting. By my experiences, there's always someone willing to give you whatever you want for this shiny, so always having some on hand is always beneficial. Overall, Niantic has been on a roll so far this year. It just doesn't seem like they've had any big misses thus far. There's been a lot of buzz leading up to the Hoenn Tour event, and this particular mini event is definitely going to contribute to that. I mean, it's already hype enough that we are getting Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, but to also get Rayquaza back in raids is just the cherry on the cake. Honestly, I feel like this has been Pokemon Go's best year so far. Niantic has been bouncing back hard from what was probably their worst year in 2022. Of course, it hasn't been perfect thus far. The game has been incredibly buggy with the most recent update, and they have a laundry list of fixes they will need to implement before the Hoenn Tour event. But in terms of content, things have been phenomenal. Hopefully, Niantic can keep this up. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Leave your thoughts down below what you think about this announcement. Are you looking forward to raiding Rayquaza? Let me know in the comments and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.